When idiots drive supercharged sports cars, they can often give police a hard time due to their fast acceleration and superior handling. But here are 4 times idiots in sports cars tried to get away but failed disastrously. It was a dark night on July 25, 2021 when Trooper Flemister, responding to a crash scene, noticed a blue sports car wildly speeding on Interstate 530 southbound. Witnesses described the driver's dangerous driving, suggesting either a lack of sobriety or a severe lack of brain cells. The suspect was driving a Camaro SS southbound on Interstate 530. Immediately, Trooper Flemister activated his lights and pushed the pedal to the metal, triggering a 151 mph pursuit of the Camaro SS. Little did Trooper Flemister know, this high-speed chase would take him across 23 miles of interstate highway. You gotta hand it to him, this idiot had stamina. It's a marvel that Trooper Flemister was able to track this criminal, who was driving so fast he was out of sight for the majority of the chase. Trooper Flemister should be commended for his intuition during this pursuit, often needing to make split-second decisions to ensure he could apprehend the suspect.
I think they took the 27. I'm taking the 27.
The trooper continues southbound and was forced to make some hair-raising turns at incredibly high speeds. After a few more minutes, he finally spots the Camaro SS in front of him and began to really hit the gas. In his pursuit, they traveled east and finally moved back out on Highway 365. This driver simply did not care about the lives of others, traveling at 100+ miles per hour on a narrow road, barely missing other innocent citizens. Trooper Flemister had enough. This chase had gone on long enough, and for every second that passed, more lives were being put at risk. He knew he needed to put a stop to this before someone got hurt. Flemister quickly begins closing the distance, first trying to line up a pit maneuver on the rear left bumper, but just falling short, before quickly attempting again, and BAM!
Hit on is successful.
Finally, the driver was stopped. The suspect, Chandler Reese Irby, knew his joyride had come to an end. The officer immediately drew his service weapon and shouted commands at the driver to exit the vehicle while showing his hands, then ordered him to walk backward, going down on his knees with his hands on his back. All the while, his partner inspected the vehicle to ensure it was empty. Chandler was asked to lie down on his stomach. He submitted with no resistance and followed each command by the police. When the officers asked him if there was anybody else in the car, the driver replied,
Yes, sir.
State police wins.
I already know.
Adam 16 liter 1015 1011.
I ain't got nothing on it. It's a gun in my car, though. It's registered, though.
Okay. Having a gun ain't illegal. You a felon?
No, sir.
All right. Sit up for me.
Man, the only reason why I ran, though, I'm gonna be real with you. I couldn't get no more tickets. I ain't know you were chasing me.
You know the best part about it?
Yes,
Wasn't chasing you. I was headed to a crash.
I already. Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah, bro. That's
See?
bad luck, ain't it?
Yes, sir.
He was swiftly handcuffed and arrested while he was on the ground. The driver told the officer he had a gun in the car but claimed he had done nothing illegal. Well, guess it was just bad luck for Irby to get caught this way. As you can see, they had time to chat after the arrest. Irby was placed in the police vehicle while the officers discussed their victory. Good going, guys. Chandler Reese Irby faced multiple charges, including speeding, exceeding the speed limit by over 15 miles per hour, reckless driving, driving without headlights after dark, changing lanes improperly, failing to stop or yield, and felony fleeing, causing significant risk of injury. These charges were escalated to the circuit court, specifically for the felony fleeing charge. You gotta wonder, what did Chandler think was going to happen? Maybe he just forgot to activate the nitro. But even though he may have gone the distance, that's nothing compared to the brazen actions of this next idiot, who tried to flee in not just one, but two patrol vehicles. It was a bright and sunny Thursday on May 6th in Volusia County, Florida, when a wild Florida man thought it'd be a good idea to start a chase with half of Florida's law enforcement. This event occurred in Cocoa, as reported by WESH2, following an instance where the suspect fled away with a patrol vehicle after law enforcement was dispatched to investigate a report of a suspicious individual on I-95. How did he get a hold of this government vehicle? We may never know, but what we do know is that this does not end well for him. The footage starts out with officers already in pursuit of the suspect traveling northbound on I-95, and we're starting off with a bang. Almost immediately, this imposter is pitted, absolutely slammed, forcing the stolen vehicle into the woods. It should be noted that the officer and suspect are lucky that there was no one on the road. Such a maneuver could have easily endangered the lives of others. But this should be the end of the story, right?
10-3, 10-3, someone just hit him into the woods. Pin him in.
And the suspect's lost his wheels, he's surrounded. Oh, think again. In a few moments, he would pull another insane stunt that would shock everyone. Just as the band of merry officers began to encroach upon the suspect's position, he slipped away like a thief in the night. Yes, the driver was actually sneaky enough to exit his vehicle and sprint from the side of the woods, stealing another patrol vehicle and continuing north. You can't make this up. The cops immediately begin giving chase like a cartoon. Try as they might, the police were too late. The driver was again on the run.
He's on the move again in a Cocoa K9 Explorer going north on 95.
The officers in pursuit were now in an even more dangerous situation. The suspect was now driving a SWAT vehicle in which there was almost certainly high-caliber long-arm weaponry.
Being advised that's a SWAT officer's vehicle.
The police quickly responded to this critical situation and began their pursuit. The driver was traveling at speeds of over 100 miles per hour. Cummings headed northward on I-95, pursued by several law enforcement agencies as he entered Volusia County. Officials deployed spike strips in the Oak Hill vicinity to terminate the pursuit. And hold on, can we just appreciate this officer's timing and throw? Let's get a slow motion replay on that. Wow. This guy deserves a promotion for that toss. Still, it wasn't enough. The driver continued to barrel down the interstate, seemingly unabated, until the stolen vehicle started pouring smoke.
Okay, vehicle is smoking north of 95, or north of Dunlawton by about a half mile. Going into the inside lane.
Finally, the driver either lost control or actually thought making a break for the median might somehow magically teleport him out of the situation. Unfortunately for him, this isn't a dirt bike or a time-traveling DeLorean, it's a cop car. The pursuing police immediately descend upon the driver, guns drawn, and order him to the ground. He was then arrested and led towards a shiny new cell. This insane pursuit resulted in a temporary shutdown of the northbound lanes on I-95, but luckily it didn't last long, less than 7 miles altogether. You know, it's almost like when you've got helicopters on you and a 3-star wanted level, it's time to give up. Cummings faced a slew of charges, including armed burglary of a conveyance, escape, fleeing or attempting to elude law enforcement, 2 counts of possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, 2 counts of grand theft firearm, 2 counts of grand theft motor vehicle, and driving while license suspended. For all these charges and the sheer brazenness of stealing not just 1, but 2 cop cars, this suspect has earned the Too Fast, Too Stupid award. Well, if you thought that was bad, wait until you see this BMW driver who thinks going 132 miles per hour is just no big deal. This idiot is going to learn he's not quite as smart as he thinks he is, and and you can't run from the law. On March 27, 2022, around 1:04 a.m., MCO3 Swain was traveling westbound on Interstate 20 near Bill Kennedy Way when the officer spotted a gray 2015 BMW 640i traveling well above the speed limit. The police estimated the speed of the vehicle to be about 108 miles per hour at a zone marked for 65 miles per hour, which was then confirmed by his stalker DSR-2X radar. As the officer followed the vehicle in the HOV lane, its speed increased to 132 miles per hour, as verified by radar. In response, state troopers and the reporting officer engaged their emergency signals to stop the driver, Deontay Duarte, who then sped up, initiating a high-speed pursuit. He communicated with Troop C dispatch to provide updates on his location, vehicle description, and license plate details. Duarte's driving became increasingly reckless, reaching speeds over 140 miles per hour with dangerous lane changes, failing to signal, and not staying within his lane, showing complete disregard for the safety of others on the road, himself and his passengers as he continued on Interstate 20 and onto I-75-85 North. Oh yes, you heard that right, this car was occupied. What is up with this guy? Exiting I-75-85 North at 17th Street, Duarte turned right onto 17th and then immediately onto Spring Street, continuing his reckless flight. This was bad. Off the highway, we're now in a highly populated metro district. The likelihood that someone could get hurt was extremely high.
I can see clear left. I can see clear right.
Doors outbound spray, come with it. Target slow grounded in the intersection. Stand by.
Responding Officer Tarpley needed to put a stop to this now. He pulled up behind the BMW and executed a pit maneuver to halt the pursuit.
Pit, stand by.
Now look, we all love to see a clean pit maneuver, but this wasn't quite that. The BMW smashed into an innocent driver's vehicle as a result of the pit, and it wouldn't be a surprise at all if its occupants suffered severe whiplash. It's incidents like this that stress the need for immense caution when executing such a maneuver, as it is extremely dangerous for those around the scene. But what do you think? Should police leave this as a last resort only? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Deontay Duarte knew the jig was up and immediately raised his hands in surrender. And again, take a look at the fact that this vehicle was occupied. It's bad enough to go on a 132 mile per hour chase with the police, but to put a loved one in this situation? Shocking. Deontay was promptly dragged out of the vehicle and arrested. After on-site medical evaluation, Duarte was taken to the Fulton County Sheriff's Office for booking. Corporal Ennis managed the crash and pit maneuver documentation while the vehicle was inventoried and towed. Overall, this pursuit covered a route from I-20 West and Bill Kennedy Way through to Linden Avenue, totaling 7.08 miles. Deontay Duarte was charged with fleeing or attempting to elude police, reckless driving, and speeding under specific Georgia codes. Well, as we just learned, misery loves company, especially when it's evading police at 140 miles per hour. Unfortunately for this next driver, he's going to learn that less is more, and he'll find out exactly why trying to outrun the cops is never a good idea. One sunny Florida day on December 17, 2023, while departing from the racetrack at West Blue Heron Boulevard, Riviera Beach, this officer was alerted to the loud sound of a vehicle with a modified exhaust system, speeding westward on West Blue Heron Boulevard towards Interstate 95. The officer decides to pursue the vehicle and head west to locate this noisy Dodge Charger. Near the crossroads of West Blue Heron Boulevard and North Military Trail, the officer encountered two Dodge Chargers. Upon the traffic light turning green, he then observed a light gray Dodge Charger accelerating rapidly past another dark gray one, proceeding westbound. Immediately, the officer pulls a tight U-turn to put a stop to the vehicle. The chase was on. To catch up with the street Dodge Charger, the officer accelerated his patrol Dodge Charger to speeds of 140 miles per hour in a 55 mile per hour zone without turning on his emergency lights or sirens. That's not an insignificant detail. It was extremely reckless of the officer to travel at such speeds without alerting others on a highly active roadway. The Charger showed no signs of stopping, making a southbound turn onto North Jog Road from State Road 710, running a red light and narrowly avoiding a collision with other vehicles. It then proceeded to recklessly drive south in the northbound lanes of North Jog. After observing this vehicle's dangerous speed, traffic signal violations, near miss with other cars, and wrong-way driving, the officer finally activated his emergency lights and sirens in an attempt to pull it over. The Charger sped up, attempting to evade arrest. The officer notified the Lake Worth Communications Center that the suspect was fleeing. The officer identified the suspect as a young male through the vehicle's left mirror. This driver was out of control. The Charger crashed into another vehicle at the intersection of Military Trail and PGA Boulevard, and perhaps predictably, fled the scene. Sergeant Thomas of the Florida Highway Patrol later attended to that crash. The suspect continued to drive at dangerous speeds through Palm Beach Gardens, committing several traffic violations, wrong-way driving, and weaving through traffic like he's playing Burnout. Finally, after this ridiculously dangerous chase, the pursuing officer decided he'd had enough of this vehicular chicanery. The officer executed a right rear bumper precision immobilization technique, PIT, bringing the vehicle to a halt on the right shoulder of North Military Trail south of Gardenia Drive, smashing against bushes and signs. Upon stopping the car, the officer drew his service pistol while the driver immediately exited. The driver, identified as Jalen Camaria, fled on foot. Somehow, after getting smashed like a tomato, he was able to temporarily escape, running through backyards and hopping fences, but was later found by Officer Sanchez of the Palm Beach Gardens Police hiding in residential bushes. My guy, this is not Assassin's Creed. And unfortunately, there is no body cam footage of this on-foot pursuit. Palm Beach Gardens Police then handed Camaria to the pursuing officer. Found with the keys to the Charger, Camaria claimed ownership of the vehicle. A victim of burglary by Camaria wished to press charges for unauthorized entry and hiding on his property. Following his capture, Camaria was transported to the Palm Beach County Jail. Camaria faced multiple charges, including burglary, fleeing and eluding, hit and run, driving without a license, and reckless driving. As has been made abundantly clear, high-speed police chases don't always end pretty. Sometimes controversial pit maneuvers are made, arguably a bit too liberally. But what do you think? Leave your thoughts on these chases in the comments below. If these cases had you on the edge of your seat, then the rest of the cases I cover will shock you even more. Please don't forget to subscribe for even more insane videos. Thanks for watching.